8:48 at KMJ. This is going to be kind of fun here as we introduce you to a 24-year-old congressional candidate. His name is Ricky Gill, and he's joining us right now on KMJ. Hey, Ricky, how you doing?
Hey, Ray, good morning.
So, 24, and you've decided you'd like to throw your irons into the fire here in mainstream politics, huh?
That's right. Well, I decided to take the plunge just a few weeks ago, Ray.
What was what pushed you into this?
Well, there are a couple of things that prompted me. You know, in this part of the valley, the northern part of the valley, this Delta region, has really been stripped of its political voice for a long time, particularly in San Joaquin County today. One of the alarming statistics is we have no state or federal legislator who lives here, and this is coinciding, Ray, with a lot of hardship, unemployment rates that are double the national average, and an economic situation that forces a lot of young people in that young demographic to leave at age 18. So we want to bring some attention to these issues, and we decided to go forward.
Okay, you say here. Where is here?
Well, so the district is subject to revision. We're in the midst of this redistricting cycle, but primarily San Joaquin County would be the anchor of this new district, and Lodi-Stockton is sort of our base and would be the nucleus of the new district, or at least that's what we forecast happening.
Mm-hmm. Has anybody else thrown their hat into this race yet?
No, there's not. It's a race of one, which makes it a little difficult. You're running against a faceless opposition, but what our message is, Ray, is that this portion of the valley really needs a voice in national politics. And so we're going to talk about the economy and education, which is one of my pet issues. I served on the State Board of Education before, and that's one of my relevant experiences that I'm going to bring to the table.
Now, the current office holder for that area, that individual does not live in that area?
The current office holder lives in Pleasanton. The way, we inherited a broken political mess from this last redistricting cycle in 2000. And so this district is split right now between the Central Valley and the Bay Area. And the current member of Congress lives in Pleasanton, which doesn't have much in common with Stockton and Lodi.
No, it's a little bit more akin to the Bay Area.
Sure.
So they're going to be super serving that area, but not ours down here.
Well, and I think, Ray, you can testify to this. We have a unique set of issues here in the Valley and in the Delta region. It's water rights. Our economic situation is impacted. And on the education front, our statistics are not where they need to be. So.
Now, you're a Republican, correct?
I would be running as a Republican. That's correct.
And do you come from a family of Republicans?
Well, I come from a first-generation American family, and I often tell people I've been a Republican as long as I could conceivably have been. I registered at age 18 as a Republican, and, we're a family that I think reflects, hopefully, the American dream. My mom and dad immigrated to this country. In fact, the reason I call my mom and dad physician farmers, they're practicing gynecologists in the Lodi-Stockton area, but in addition to that, we've been farming wine grapes and cherries here for the better part of a generation. And my father was actually raised in Africa. The reason he settled in the San Joaquin Valley is because side by side with his medical practice, he wanted to own and operate a farm, and that came to pass.
Wow, that's wild. So your dad's from Africa. Would he be from the Kenya area?
Well, he's actually raised in Uganda, but my parents' real roots are in India.
Yeah, that's right. I figured the last name was Indian. I know there are a lot of Indians in Kenya and Nairobi. Yeah, which we're getting way off track now, I understand, but I was just asking there. So if you were able to get your hands on this office, what would be the first thing that you would do after being elected? Well,
I think there are two things. But first of all, the job situation here has got to improve. I mean, the statistic here is an unemployment rate that hovers around 20%. And I think we need a concerted effort to bring a little more optimism to the jobs picture. And that's not through inflated government bureaucracy or hyper spending. I think it's through basic structural reforms, whether it's we got to bring spending under control, we have to end lawsuit abuse. I think, frankly, there are things we can do to prevent the public sector from crowding out private sector investment, and that has to be the number one priority. The second is, I believe, Congress has been broken and not basically been living within its means or abiding by the same rules that the American family does or that state government does. One of my big ideas, Ray, is to have a single subject rule in a lot of state legislatures. If there's one bill, it should only pertain to one topic area. So you can't have these riders or this log rolling with a health care bill with an education component. I think that's nonsense, and it's a single subject rule that the Congress should adopt. Many state legislatures already have it. You could say the same for a balanced budget amendment. It's beside me that the Congress doesn't live within its limits, but state governments often have to, and I think that principle should be taken from state governments and applied to Washington.
Yeah, it's like, what's good for the goose is not, good for the gander in some cases, and I hate to see this double standard. So, how is the announcement of this race that you're diving into, how's it been accepted by the locals?
I think, we didn't just take a headlong rush into it, Ray. What we did is we convened an exploratory committee, and we convened that committee over the course of 2 months. And these were business leaders and farmers, folks who care about water rights, and public servants and teachers. We just ran the gamut. We had 30 people, put them in a room, and they met regularly. And we did two things. We talked about the issues confronting this district and whether or not we were poised to address them. But secondly, we raised some money. In the course of 2 months, Ray, what confirms that this is a workable proposition is that we raised more money in 2 months than 80% of freshman congressmen had raised in 3 months from individuals. And I did this as admittedly a young man who hadn't even announced a candidacy, who was in the exploratory phase. So the community's been responding, and in spite of bad weather, we had 200 people at an announcement in Lodi. Things are going well, but Ray, you got to prepare for the worst, but hope for the best, and that's where we are right now.
Well, Ricky, we wish you well. Thanks for joining us today on KMJ.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it.
Take care. Ricky Gill, 24 years old, and sharp, just up on everything. I mean, he sounds like he's ready for it now, but he's running for Congress.